Hey everyone, Scott Hansen here from NFL Red Zone, and you're watching the Super Fantasy Bros podcast. 1 hour of commercial-free podcasting starts now. Enjoy the show.
Welcome back to the Super Fantasy Bros podcast. As you can see, it's just me and Matt here today. Like the song, just the two of us. Sean's not here tonight. He's at the Phillies game. Going to watch them take game 3. T-Gods is out. Needed a break day. So week 8 is in the books, and the season continues to fly by. Today we're going to recap everything that's happened in week 8, doing some Karma Chaos, Trust or Bust, buy low, sell high, waiver targets, and maybe some trivia. It depends on how fast we get done. But as always, we will try to keep up to date with the questions here in the chat. So feel free to drop any. So let's get right into it with the Karma or Chaos. Starting off with a very stinky performance from this team overall. Derek Carr, the quarterback of the Las Vegas Raiders, had 1.94 points. He threw for 100 yards and 1 pick. Is this Karma or Chaos? He's had less than 16 points in the last 3 or 4 games. Does not look good.
Chaos.
Yeah.
Go ahead. My fault.
No, it hasn't looked good all season, I'd say. He had a couple okay games, but when you have Devontae Adams, you'd expect a big jump in your production compared to last year when they were scoring millions of points. But
I think he got worse after Devontae Adams.
That's not fair to.
It's not. Making Addy look bad too now.
Like, how do you not score a single point and you have Devontae Adams?
Disgusting. They got blown out.
By the Saints, by Andy.
Right. Red Rifle.
Next quarterback here, I guess it's a better performance because it's hard to beat 1 point. But Trevor Lawrence, 8 points, threw for 133 yards and 1 touchdown, 2 picks. 1 was forced, and then 3 carries for 15 yards. He's still QB9 on the season because he had a very hot start. Is this calm or chaos?
I think I'm still staying calm. The couple games he had before this game, he put up decent numbers. He had a little stinker in the middle of the season, but it seems like he's gotten over that. This Jaguars offense is still high-powered. Travis Etienne has looked great. Christian Kirk has had his moments. Evan Ingram continues to looking better and better each week. So I think I'm staying calm on Trevor Lawrence and this offense.
Yeah, I think I'm calm. Oh, not only, but mainly because his next 5 games are the Raiders, the Chiefs, Baltimore, Detroit, Tennessee. So very juicy for a team that may need to throw the ball more because they are still not that good, even though ETN is a beast.
Yes.
Third quarterback here, he came back down to earth a bit. Daniel Jones, 9-point performance, 17 for 31, 176 yards, and then 6 carries for 20 yards. He's always going to run. And he's still still a top 10 quarterback. Is it calm or chaos for Daniel Jones?
I think this is more of the Daniel Jones that we know.
Sadly.
I think he's only thrown for over 200 yards in 2 games so far this season. But the rushing ability is always going to be there week in, week out. For a guy like Daniel Jones, that rushing ability is unheard of. I feel like he should be more of a pocket passer, but Danny's got wheels. So
yeah, it seems like he needs to be able to run the ball a lot more in order to have a good fantasy day.
Mm-hmm.
This is his second lowest.
You can't do it through the
rushing
air.
day. Yeah, and with no receivers, I'm not even gonna. And he doesn't have Bellinger. I see people gassing Bellinger like he was gonna be a big factor, but
he has been like his safety blanket.
But when you have Saquon, just dump it off to him. But it's either Saquon run or Daniel Jones run or Daniel Jones throw a incomplete pass. I wish they had gotten a receiver today.
Should have gotten Brandon Cooks.
Brandon Cooks is sick. He wasn't traded, he said.
Yeah, I would be too.
But another one where his upcoming schedule is basically all the teams the Eagles have played, so they're easy teams. So he should be able to bounce back.
Love it.
All right, on to the RBs. Brian Robinson, 2 points. I don't see the hype in him. 8 carries for 20 yards, and he's had 39 touches over the last 2 games, but playing 25% of the snaps last week compared to 47 each of the last 2 games. I'm going to say chaos
I
because
am as well.
Gibby is not going away.
He is not.
I think Gibson's basically playing the J.D. McKissick role just 100 times better, and I don't know if Robinson has much receiving talent. So
I don't
that's
think
probably,
he has any, honestly. I'm not sure if he has a target on the season yet.
I
It's
don't know how
crazy.
much talent he actually has. But he
I
did
mean,
come back from the gunshot, so
he did. But yeah, it looks like Gibby's taking up way too much volume in that offense for Brian Robinson to just find success strictly running the ball.
yeah, he has 2 targets on the season.
Yep.
I mean, he's only played like 3 games, but 2 targets
Still,
coming.
come on.
Yeah, not good. Not good at all. Next running back here, Darrell Henderson, 5 measly points, 4 carries for 16 yards, and then 2 for 2 in the passing game. Is this calm or chaos?
Henderson honestly hasn't been that great all season. So
Yeah.
when he's been the workhorse with Cam Akers being benched, and I forget who else they might have there, but Henderson
Ronnie
hasn't done
Reynolds.
much. Yeah,
Ron-
he's going to be a hot commodity coming off the waiver wire this week, but Henderson just is not him.
Yeah, and Cam Akers is still non-existent, so you'd think Henderson keep it up, but their offensive line is bad, as
That
seen
team's
in
bad.
Matt Stafford's play.
Yep.
Sadly, they didn't get what's his name, David Montgomery or Khalil Herbert.
Oh, that would have been so good.
Doesn't really matter though. Next running back, not sure why he's on here, Sean.
You know,
Jonathan
Sean.
Taylor, 5.6 points. He did have a terrible game, and he has not been the number 1 overall pick that we expected him to be. 16 carries for 76 yards, 1 fumble loss. He did get hurt in the middle of the game, but came back. Is this calm or chaos?
I'm staying calm, although his upcoming schedule doesn't look too appetizing either. He gets the Patriots. After that, he gets the Eagles. He gets the Raiders and Pittsburgh, like mismatched in between there. But then he has Dallas, Minnesota, the Chargers, which all have strong front sevens. So
They should have
and this
traded.
Colts team just seems abysmal right now.
Yeah, it all starts with that terrible quarterback. Obviously, you're going to keep rolling him out there. You do hope that with Hines being gone, and they actually got rid of their offensive coordinator today, so those 2 subtractions could equal some sort of addition. But also, he only had 1 target last week compared to 8 the week prior with Matt Ryan. So Ellinger needs to dump the damn ball off a little more.
Yes. The problem with Ellinger is I feel like he's more comfortable to run if he has to.
Yeah, that's
That hurts.
it's terrible. Next running back who's been a stud all season up until this point, Josh Jacobs, 7.4 points. I mentioned earlier the Raiders altogether have been were terrible last week. 10 carries for 40 yards and 2 for 4 through the air for 11 yards. Calm or chaos?
I'm staying calm. He has done nothing up until this point to show me otherwise. It was a bad game all around for the Raiders. They put up 0 points. So, I mean, nobody had production, and that is, I wouldn't say unlike them, but it's definitely unlike Josh Jacobs.
Yeah, especially Josh Jacobs of 2022.
Right.
Calm for sure. We'll go to the wide receivers now, and his counterpart teammate Devontae Adams. Why is he on here? 1.2 points, only 1 catch for 5 targets for 3 yards, and had 1 carry actually for negative yards. So I don't even know. I guess they were just trying to get him involved.
Somehow.
This is still calm, obviously.
So calm.
I do wish he was traded back to the Packers today.
Me too. Or fuck it, send him to the Giants.
Literally anywhere. Daniel Jones
Anywhere.
has a bigger brain, I guess, than Derek Carr. He would know to feed him.
This is literally Addy's second game not in double-digit fantasy points. So
he has been like quietly just elite. I guess I don't know what it is. No one really talks about him.
His floor is like 15.
Yeah.
So I'll take that all day, every day.
He'll bounce back. I think he plays the I don't know who he plays this week.
He plays Jacksonville. Love it.
Yeah, should be a better matchup for him because we saw Jerry Jeudy last week do pretty well. Next his other teammate, geez, all Raiders in a row. Hunter Renfrow, 1.6 points, 1 for 2 for 6 yards. I'm going to say chaos.
He hasn't done anything all year.
Ever since he's come back, I've just been out on him all season.
And even with Waller out, he just can't find his little niche in the offense. It doesn't seem like he is getting the ball at all.
He's been replaced by Mac Hollins.
Yeah, Mac Hollins has been on fire.
That's unfortunate. All right. So, yeah, not much to say about him. This guy might be a little bit more. Cortland Sutton, 2.3 points, 1 for 4 for 13 yards. Is this calm or chaos?
I don't know.
I'm going to say
you got to stay calm.
I want to stay calm, and I would have been so calm if they traded Jerry Jeudy today because they talked about it. But it's a little chaotic because we've seen Jerry Jeudy being more involved than him. But obviously, he can bounce back. Russ had an okay game for Russ standards this year, so
right.
He has.
The only thing that scares me is this is literally his third game in a row with 5 fantasy points or less.
Well, we'll say 2 because he played with the Brett Slayton last game, but still bad.
You're right. Still bad. Not a good look.
The whole team's been Greg
Dulcich. Greg D.
All right. Next receiver here, Gabe Davis, 5.5 points, 2 for 7 for 35 yards. I'm going to have to go with chaos. He's just Mr. Boomer Bust.
That's literally what it is. It's never going to be you're staying calm. It's always chaos week in, week out with the headache of him dropping 4 or 30.
And I still think I'd put him above Isaiah McKenzie, but
definitely
I wouldn't really touch either of them.
Yeah.
Christian Kirk, Mr. who's come back. He's come back down to earth. 7 points last week, 3 for 7 for 40 yards. He averaged 20.9 points the first 3 games. And the last 5 weeks, he's only averaged 9.1. Is this calm or chaos?
This is tough. A little bit of chaos.
Yeah.
Because it seems like the bad games come a lot more than the good ones. And the first 3 weeks are carrying him right now. I mean, he was on fire looking like a wide receiver 1, and then he came back to be the Christian Kirk and the Jags offense that we know.
The Eagles ruined him.
Yep.
Yeah, the last 5 games, he's only had 1 game where he had 5 catches. So he's getting the targets, but just not getting much of the work. And Evan Ingram seems to be the new guy there in Jacksonville.
Yep.
Rightfully so.
Rightfully so.
Another guy on here, I'm surprised that Sean put Devontae Smith, 7.3 fantasy points, 5 for 8, 23 yards. Is this calm or chaos?
Calm. This was A.J. Brown's game. I mean, 3 touchdowns in the first half. Devontae Smith really didn't have to do much after that. Eagles were in control all game, which you love to see. But this is his, aside from the week 1 fluke-ass donut, this is his second game under like 12 points. So I'm completely calm on Devontae Smith.
Yeah, and he's still at 8 targets, so he's
just
wasn't scoring 3 touchdowns.
Right.
Can't really help that.
Not much you can do there.
And he plays Houston this week, so he's definitely. I mean, I hope he doesn't go off this week because I'm playing against him. So I'll take the week 1 donut and still get the win. Another AJ Brown game. And the only
Goddard game.
Yes, and Booby. The only tight end on here for today is Tyler Higbee, 3.5 points, 2 for 6 for 15 yards. He did see 93% of the snaps. Oh, well, the first 5 weeks he did, but 78% in week 6 and 69 perfect this week. Is a calm or chaos for Tyler Higbee.
Has he been dealing with injury? No.
That's Dalton.
Yeah, you're right. I think it's starting to get a little chaotic. It seems like the only piece of this Rams offense you could really, truly trust is Cooper Kupp, understandably. Everybody else, it seems like they have their flashes, but it's never consistent.
How is he? Oh, wow, he fell off. He's now tight end 16, but he hasn't scored a single touchdown this season.
Jesus. I swore he had like 3 the first 4 weeks.
From weeks 2 to 6, or 2 to 5, he had over 10 points every week.
Yeah, he was looking good.
No touchdowns in any game.
That's crazy.
Saying it, Matt Stafford.
Damn it, Matt Stafford. And
I guess it's
goddamn
calm.
offensive line.
I mean, it's chaotic, but for a tight end, I
Yeah.
guess it's calm.
You may have no other choice.
All right, and that's it for calm or chaos. We'll just get into today's ad read real quick. Today's sponsor is Underdog Fantasy. Underdog Fantasy is the easiest way to play fantasy football, and you can get started now with their Week 9 Battle Royale contest. $50K first place and $250K prizes total. Football is always more fun with a few bucks in play, so check out that contest. They also have contests for the NBA, MLB, and NHL as well. When you sign up, make sure you use our code SUPERFB. That's SUPERFB for 100% deposit match of up to $100. So if you deposit 100, you will get another 100 matched free. Again, our promo code is SuperFB, and you can play on the Underdog Fantasy app for iOS and Android, or you can sign up online at underdogfantasy.com.
I think you might have to spell that out for the viewers' queue.
SUPERFB, all caps, please.
There you go.
Super FB. Matt, I don't know if you see the comments because I don't see any, but if there's any questions, you can interrupt.
I see them. We have had zilch.
Okay.
It's
Great.
because Sean left us in the fucking dust.
True colors show.
Yeah.
All right. So next thing here is trust or bust. We'll start off with the QBs. A very hot QB, not literally. Tua Tagovailoa. With 35.18 points, he threw for over 350 yards and had 3 touchdowns, with also 5 carries for 19 yards. Is this trust or bust?
Heavy trust. I give him a pass last week because he was coming back from that concussion that had him stumbling all over the field. So, I mean, he looks comfortable back in this offense. When you have Tyreek and Waddle, it's hard not to be a good fantasy quarterback.
And that showed because he had some terrible throws on Sunday where Tyreek had to run back like 20 yards to catch it. But he has a very favorable matchup coming up with Chicago and teams like that. So would you start Justin Herbert or Tua Tagovailoa? Tua this week.
Ooh.
Herbert with no Keenan with Keenan, no Mike Williams or Tua.
Who do they play? I might go to it. Jay Herbo has not been
playing Atlanta, so not a bad matchup for him either. Oh no, Herbert's playing Atlanta. Tua's playing Chicago.
I feel like I got to go Herbert.
I feel
Atlanta
like
is just horrible, and I don't think AJ Terrell's healthy yet.
Yeah, so hopefully Keenan is healthy because that's all. I mean, Eckler dump offs. That's pretty basically all he needs.
And Everett.
But don't even get me started. But Tua's ceiling is definitely higher. I never thought I'd say that as the Justin Herbert stand. And also before we get into the next, we gotta go Phillies. Go Phils.
Yes, sir.
Phils in 5.
Oh, yes, ma'am.
Next quarterback here, Justin Fields, 30 points on the Sunday. Threw for 151 yards, 2 touchdowns, and also had 8 carries for 60 yards and a touchdown. Currently QB 11 on the season. That's disgusting. He's had over 47 yards in the last 6 games and has also been a QB1 the last 2 weeks, I believe. So is this trust or bust?
The rushing upside you have to trust. In the past 3 weeks, he hasn't had less than 60 yards rushing.
Yeah, I don't want to trust him because I just don't. He's literally a running back.
But he has been, the second half of the season, he has been throwing a lot more than the first 3 games where he had 2 17 pass attempts and then an 11.
Yeah, I have to get the beginning of the season out of my brain. They also did just get Chase Claypool, so that could help. I mean, he's not the greatest addition, but he is better than their second option, which was Dante Pettis.
He might be better than Darnell Mooney.
I would definitely agree with that. Matt, you're getting some more love here.
Love it.
And then our scum commish host
hey,
set us up for failure today.
How you doing, Sean?
Just kidding. All right, another quarterback. These quarterbacks are very
Q.
weird
I think
names.
you have to double to click it to make it go away.
Oh yeah, I was going to keep it up. Marcus Mariota, 28.42 fantasy points, threw for over 250 yards and 3 touchdowns. Did have 2 picks, but covered it up with the 6 carries for 43 yards. Another top 12 quarterback coming in at QB 8 on the season. Is it trust or bust for Mr. Mariota?
That's disgusting. Why are quarterbacks so weird this year? It makes no sense.
I'm gonna go with. I think I'm gonna go with. Like, it all comes down to the game script. Like, when they're losing, there's no chance of them having a good game.
No,
but when it's close, because they're never blowing anyone out. But when it's close, like he that's when he's good. And I can't tell if this team is good or not, but I think I'm gonna go trust. I don't know what the remaining schedule looks like, but I'm sure they're not playing like juggernaut teams.
They're not. They have the Chargers this week, Panthers, Chicago, Commanders, Steelers. So it's looking pretty juicy for Marcus Mariota.
He might finish as the top 5 quarterback.
He honestly might. The rushing upside with a lot of these quarterbacks this year, I feel like, is what is carrying them. And the pocket passers are just not having as much success this year against defenses, as weird as it may sound.
Yeah, I don't understand it. I don't understand it. I mean, when you got guys like Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers falling off, you're going to have these randoms in here like Daniel Jones, Gino,
Trevor Lawrence.
It's weird.
It's very.
But it will continue, I believe. That's it for the quarterbacks. Go into the running backs here. Tony Pollard with a starting running back performance. I don't know why he isn't. 35.7 fantasy points, 131 yards on 14 carries, and 3 freaking touchdowns. Is this trust or bust?
Trust.
Has to be trust.
Love it. Even when Zeke is healthy, he's getting like a decent workload when he's there. So they saw what he could do as the number one. I feel like throughout the season they may lean more on him. So
I think it all is up to Mr. What's his name? Jerry Jones. Is he coming back this? Oh, he's going to come back. Wait.
After the bye. I think they're on a bye this week.
Oh, shit. All right. So I still think that I'm gonna trust Pollard. You don't score 3 touchdowns and just fade. But
just disappear.
I also wouldn't be surprised because we all hyped him up one week and then he stunk because they decided to go with Zeke. So he may be the best cuff this year, I'd say. Thought it was going to be AJ Dillon. He stinks.
Khalil Herbert.
Oh, that's true. I just feel like Pollard's had more like games where you can separate him from Zeke. I don't know what I'm trying to say, but I don't know.
Actually, he looked more like the number one.
Yeah.
Over the actual number
one.
Herbert
and Montgomery kind of looked like 50-50. Like
both sometimes they're identical.
So we'll go to another running back I didn't think we'd talk about this year at all. Dante Foreman. He had 31.8 fantasy points, 3 touchdowns on 118 yards rushing. Is this trust or bust?
Trust. Big trust. No Chuba. He was the number one, just the same as Tony Pollard. They both took full advantage of that role. And like you said, you don't score 3 touchdowns and then just disappear.
See, I wish he didn't say that because I'm leaning towards bust. But
why? How?
Their upcoming schedule, now that I look at it, it's not too bad because Broncos are on there and they just got rid of Chubb. The best news is that they play Atlanta like in week 10, so he's going to get another opportunity, another 3 touchdowns.
I need it.
It's just when does Hubbard return, or if he returns, when he returns, what's that going to? He's trending in the right direction right now. So
he is. If it is a split, I think at worst it's maybe like 70-30, 65-35. I still see Foreman getting the majority of the work.
He's what everyone was hyping Gus Edwards up to be 2 weeks ago or a week ago.
It's a shame he had to get hurt again, though.
Yep. But I guess it's going to be trust for Foreman. He did do pretty well last year, I think, when he was replacing Derrick Henry. So
yeah, he was.
I don't know why I'm not surprised.
He had a few good games.
Next running back here, we mentioned him a little bit earlier, Antonio Gibson, 20.7 fantasy points, only 19 yards rushing, but did have 7 receptions for 58 yards and a touchdown. Saw 36% of the snaps after 39% last week. So still in the same ballpark here. Is it trust or bust for Antonio Gibson?
Trust.
Are you
He's
trusting more than Brian Robinson? Sorry.
Yeah, because like you said earlier, he's playing the J.D. McKissick role. Robinson literally has zero receiving upside, and if Gibson's getting like 6-7 targets a game out of the backfield with Taylor Heineke throwing the ball,
Yeah.
I trust that way more than the 16 to 20 rush attempts Brian Robinson's going to get.
Yeah, and I don't think it's much of a coincidence here that he has seen 2 consistent games of him. I wish I knew where he finished on those weeks, but where he saw at least 15 plus points with Taylor Heineke. So he had some success last year with Heineke. So did Terry McLaurin, who's also bouncing back. So Heineke he's not better than Wentz. He just has more chemistry with the team than Wentz.
Okay.
We have a question here. Or Massive trade. Who do you guys think won? Dow, Fournette, Mike Evans, Lamar for Hurts, Waddle, CD, Swift. I think I'm taking the bottom.
You think so?
I love Fournette, Mike Evans. I own them both, but I like Hurts more than Lamar.
Waddle could be wide receiver 1.
CD is looking like old CD with
and
Dak
we just
back.
gotta hope Swift stays healthy.
Yeah. I guess that's a pretty fair trade, I'd say.
It's very fair.
You don't get many big trades like that with big names like that being fair. Usually there's like a stinky bone thrown in there, but these are all big names.
Someone trying to pull a fast one.
These are all this is very like as fair as it gets. I think you both won.
Yep. Flip a coin.
Mello there. Hello. Next running back here is Tyler Algier. Who cares? After this week, who cares? 17.5 fantasy points, 14 carries for 39 yards, and 3 for 3 for 46 yards. Did score a touchdown. Let me see. Is this trust or bust?
I don't. It's so hot. Because when does Cordero come back?
Possibly this week. He's aiming towards this week. So that's why I'm saying it could be. Who cares about?
Could be a trap.
He might be gone.
I feel like it's a trap.
I think CPAT's return is going to make you forget about Caleb Huntley.
I already forgot about him because of Tyler Algier.
I think there's another running back too, unless it's a fullback. But yeah, I don't think any of these guys are going to matter when he returns. But
me either.
So it's going to be a bust for me, dog. All right. Next running back here is going to be Melvin Gordon, especially after the trade. It should be an easy bust, but scored 14 fantasy points on Sunday, 9 for 29 and a touchdown late in the game. So 56% of the snaps. But they did just add Chase Edmonds, so I think it's going to be a bust for me.
Yeah. It's been a bust for a little bit now.
Go ahead. What? I was going to say no one was starting him really confidently anyway, besides the bye weeks. That was basically the only reason you had him in last week, if you did. Right. And Mike Boone should return. So that's just a big mess with Murray and him.
It's a headache. And now Edmonds.
Who I would hope would be the starting running back, but we'll see.
I hope so.
Let's go to these wide receivers. A guy that we own, DJ Moore. Finally broke out into the scene with 29.5 fantasy points, saw 152 yards receiving and a touchdown. Is this trust or bust?
DJ Moore is back. I didn't think I would say it at any point this season. But the past 2 weeks with PJ Walker, it seems like he's a lot more comfortable throwing the ball down the field, actually. That's
nothing
how DJ Moore got the long touchdown. Honestly, just playing to have fun because they honestly have nothing to lose. So
he saw 10 and 11 targets the last 2 weeks with PJ Walker. So
Robbie's he got traded. Yeah. So it's literally just Terrace Marshall has made a slight impact, but
emergence.
DJ Moore is the go-to.
As long as you see no Baker, no Sam Darnold, DJ Moore could be what Sean gasses them up to be every season.
Yeah.
And as an owner, as we are fellow owners of DJ Moore,
say it.
Yeah, definitely. Next wide receiver here seems to be another boomer bust guy, Rondale Moore, 23.4 fantasy points, 7 for 8 for 92 yards, a touchdown, and then 2 carries for 12 yards. Is this trust or bust?
I want to trust Rondale because they need him in the office. In the office, in this offense.
I think D Hop is going to make all of these players better just because how fast he's come back and been so great. But I don't want to start him. I don't want to trust him.
I'm trusting him. The Cardinals have one of the worst defenses in the league. No matter what team they're going to be playing against, has the opportunity to put points up. So I feel like they are going to have to throw. Their running backs haven't been the greatest. James Conner struggling to stay healthy.
Yeah.
Eno has showed his games, but he also isn't the greatest out there. So they're going to rely on throwing the ball mainly to keep up in games and try and cover up for their defense.
Yeah, I see what you mean. I don't know. I just can't trust them. It's gonna be a bust for me.
Whatever.
I wish I had like ranks for this week already, but just to see the names around them, I don't know. I wouldn't start him, but I wouldn't be with bye. You have guys like Cortland Sutton on a bye. Maybe you start him.
Mm-hmm.
Question here from Cosmic Cow. I like that. I have JT on my team, and I'm wondering if I try and trade him or hold him because of the Tynes trade. I would
hold.
Yeah, I'll definitely hold. As I said earlier, they lost their offensive coordinator today, and Hines is gone. So hopefully that means more work for him.
Right, and if you trade Jonathan Taylor right now, you're not going to get nearly
pennies
the
on
return
the dollar.
you should. Yeah, not what you should be getting for Jonathan Taylor at all.
And I don't know who else they have besides Deion Jackson, but they're definitely not going to be having those two guys back and forth because they're basically the same running back. Hines was just the guy to switch everything up, so I would hold for sure.
Yep.
Okay. Next wide receiver here, Jerry Jeudy. He had 18.3 fantasy points, 6 for 7 for 63 yards, and a touchdown. Is this trust or bust?
I am leaning bust because although he had 2 good weeks in a row, he's still so inconsistent.
Yeah, they are very good. I wish Sutton I'm still trusting Sutton slightly more than him, but I can't. I wish that Sutton had put up these numbers the last 2 weeks. I don't know what it is. I guess he's more.
Are you really, truly, fully trusting anybody in this offense right now?
Outside of Greg D, no.
Greg Dulcich is the truth. I would start him every week.
Yeah, outside of Greg D, and that's being serious. I wish I had other options personally, but yeah, I don't trust anyone else outside of Greg D.
I agree.
But their schedule is light for the rest of the season, so you hope starting with Russ top down, they all get a little better possible. Okay, next guy here, Garrett Wilson, 17.5 fantasy points. Where's his numbers at? 6 for 7. He had 115 yards. So this is his first good game since like week 3, which was when that was the last time Joe Flacco played. Is this trust or bust?
Bust.
Definitely bust. I'm
not buying it.
Since week 3/4 was his last like productive game, and he has the Bills coming up, and Zach Wilson is just not good. So it's definitely. I like Garrett Wilson. But I wasn't expecting him to fall up as hard as he did. I'm glad I sold him when I did, but I wish if Joe Flacco remained the quarterback, I guess he would have been better.
He could have been MVP.
Well, probably, I would say the oldest MVP, but I wouldn't be surprised if Tom Brady won that. Okay, and second to last wide receiver here, Romeo Doubs. He didn't give me the fantasy points. I don't know, but he was 4 for 7, 62 yards, and a touchdown. Are we trusting or are we busting on Romeo Doubs?
I think it's busting on Romeo Doubs. He's another one of these very inconsistent wide receivers. This offense is very unpredictable. There's no one receiver, maybe Lazard, that I would trust.
Yeah.
But
And that's basically why Romeo Doubs had a good game, is because Lazard was out. Christian Watson left with a concussion, came back, and then left again, I think.
Yeah, so he was really the only option.
Besides Rob Tunyon, who did have a touchdown.
Bob.
He's back.
He's back.
And our last wide receiver on this list, God, I hate him. Matt Collins, 13.4 fantasy points. He was the best Raider on the day, fantasy-wise, and just in general. 7 for 8 for 64 yards. Is a trust or bust for Matt Collins?
I feel like He's been so solid, but once you start trusting him, I feel like he's going to fall off the face of the earth.
Let's see.
It would take so much for me to start Matt Collins any week.
So there's that 1 week where he had 30 points and then literally fell off for a couple weeks. But he's just a fringe bye week fill-in.
Yep.
Hit
the nail on the head.
He shouldn't even be relevant because they had Devonta Adams, but Derek Carr is basically brain dead, so it makes sense why Matt Collins is relevant.
It does. Should have been Hunter Renfrow. I don't know what the hell is going on.
Literally. Should have been Foster Moreau, but no, it's Matt Collins. Speaking of Foster Moreau, let's get into the tight ends. Tyler Conklin came back from the dead.
Life.
25.9 fantasy points, and then he had 79 yards with 2 touchdowns. Is it trust or bust for the Conk?
Ain't no fucking way I'm trusting him.
Was it a coincidence that he also had the last time he had a good game was the same time Garrett Wilson had a good game? So
I guess their fantasy production relies on each other. If Garrett Wilson's having a good day, so is Conklin.
I don't understand because Zach Wilson was god awful, but he just started chucking it up, so it makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
I wish Tyler Conklin was about to be like better than Travis Kelce, starting through the first 3 weeks and then fell off.
Right.
But it's going to be a bust, sadly.
I agree.
Next tight end here, Isaiah Likely, 19.7 fantasy points, 77 yards, and a touchdown. Likely not the starter next week because Mark Andrews will be back. But is this trust or bust?
If Mark Andrews is to miss a week or two, I would trust him. But as long as Mark Andrews is there, he's literally the heart of that offense. So I am not trusting his backup.
It's likely will be the backup.
Yeah.
But he is like built like a wide receiver. So with Bateman out, they should throw him in there.
They could run 2 tight end sets.
Unless Deshaun Jackson finally plays.
Man, he's 35 years old. That's nuts.
John Harbaugh was like hyping him up when they won as if Deshaun Jackson was playing, running on this field. Yep. So likely bust unless he was the starter. Next tight end here is Kyle Pitts. I hate that he's back. Well, on this list.
It's a lie.
19 points, 5 for 9, 80 yards, and a touchdown. Is this trust or bust?
Bust. Literally once in a blue moon. Good game for Kyle Pitts. I'm not buying it. And I'll get slightly more into that in a little bit.
Yeah. Somehow he's still going to be ranked top 5. He's definitely going to be ranked top 5 for most people coming in this week just because he scored the touchdown. Like, look, it's Kyle Pitts of old, but Kyle Pitts of old is
bad. So bad.
We need Kyle Pitts of new. And new still might be ass. But new is just inconsistent. So it's going to be bust until further notice. Actually, it's just been bust.
It's been bust. And
the final tight end here is Evan Ingram. He had 15.5 fantasy points. He may have been their most productive receiver on the day. 4 for 6, 55 yards and a touchdown. Is it trust or bust for Evan Ingram?
I think it's time to trust Evan Ingy. In the past 4 weeks, he's had no less than 6 targets, which for a tight end, that's all you can really ask for.
Oh, yeah.
Has had double-digit fantasy points damn near in all those games. So it looks like him and Trevor Lawrence are building a chemistry together as his safety blanket, kind of. So I like Evan Ingram moving forward.
Yeah. Only thing you want to see is more touchdowns. He only has 1.
Definitely.
He's seeing enough work to where a touchdown would make a touchdown would make his normal production just be insane.
Yep.
So that's it for trust or bust. We're gonna go into waiver targets now. Matt, you will begin. Who is your waiver target?
My waiver target is the forgotten Kenyon Drake after Gus Edwards came back from injury. I was one of the owners who tried to give up on Kenyon Drake. I actually tried to drop him for Gus Edwards. Thank God Sean made that not possible. So, I mean, Gus, it looks like he's going to miss some time again, possibly. So, Kenyon Drake looked good on Thursday. He's got in the end zone again, which is nice to see. So, I feel like whenever he does have the opportunity, he always capitalizes off of it. So I do like him moving forward.
I can't believe he burnt you, and you're going to make him your waiver target.
I'm still not starting him. Just get him on your team.
As long as you're not starting him, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, he definitely could be productive with Gus if he's out. My waiver target this week is going to be, of course, Greg D. I kind of cheated because he's owned in 49% of leagues, but it's under 50. So it should definitely be more than 50.
Should be like 100.
Led the Broncos in yards last week. He's had the 2 games that he's played, or maybe it's 3 games he's played. He's been a tight end 1. So he's had 10 or more points in all 3 games that he's played. They have like 4 tight ends. So luckily it seems now that he has emerged as the starter. This should have been Alberto, but it took 9 weeks for the Broncos to realize that it's not Alberto or Tomlinson or whoever the hell else they have. It's Greg D. Get him on your team. This team, the Broncos as a whole, are going to make a bounce back after this bye. Believe it.
I believe it.
All right, and since we don't have Sean or T-Gods, that was quick waivers. We're going to go now into buy low and sell high. Matt, who was your buy low? Who was your sell high?
Buy low is Deebo Samuel, especially for teams who look like they're already in a good position to make the playoffs, or if they're not a lock already and undefeated. You could deal with the upcoming bye, maybe if he has to miss a week after that. But he's been dealing with injury. Like I just mentioned, fantasy owner could be frustrated in win now mode, and you could get him at a discounted price, like I said, with the upcoming bye. And this offense has looked good so far. CMC looks like this offense is elite now. So I think that only helps Deebo when he comes back to create more space in the open field for him. And we've seen him in the past. He could take any 5-yard dump off to the house. So
yeah, I actually don't. Sorry, I don't think that Deebo is hurt at all by Christian McCaffrey. Definitely helped by him.
Yep. And sell high, no better name than Kyle Pitts. This is his 3rd game all season with double-digit fantasy points, and other than that, he averages 3.8. So it's either you're getting 12 or 4.
It's not even that. It's mainly just the 4.
It really is. He's the most inconsistent tight end maybe of all time, and the most gas name for no reason.
Definitely.
Good games from Kyle Pitts are so far and few between that if you can get anything for him right now, I think it's worth your while.
I definitely agree. There's probably some people out there who have short memory, so they only think about what
still
happened
buying the name.
I probably would buy his name, but if I know what his worth is, I would still be starting like Gerald Everett over some shit. All right, so my buy low and sell high are actually 2 guys that we own. So my buy low is going to be DeAndre Swift. He saw a very measly 5 carries for 6 yards and was out-touched by Jamal. But Coach Campbell said that Swift isn't 100%, so it makes sense why he wasn't really worked into it that much. There are people that could be worried because Jamal Williams has been a vulture all freaking season, especially when you get into the 10-yard line. You can still finish as a top 10 back when his work increases. He has some juicy matchups coming up, such as the Packers, Bears, and Giants. So you just want to see more of the rushing work. He still is involved in receiving, but you just want to see him start stealing the vulture touchdowns that Jamal Williams was getting. I wish that Jamal Williams was a bad guy too, because I like him, but when I own Swift, I don't.
You can't hate him.
I know he's such a good person, and he was just like that in Green Bay too. He was always stealing Aaron Jones touchdowns. My sell high is going to be Michael Pittman. He saw 9 targets last week with Sam Ehlinger, and then the previous 2 weeks, which don't really matter because they were with Matt Ryan. He saw 9 targets and 16. Ehlinger only threw 23 times, and with such a small amount, if he continues to pass like that, I don't know how consistently those targets will come for Pittman. He has games against the Eagles, Patriots, and Cowboys in the next 5 weeks, so I'd sell high before he plays these tough defenses. And he is their number 1 target, but Sam Ehlinger, I have no faith in him. So I would sell high.
A little bit of faith.
I mean, I will have some. I'd have more faith in him if DJ Moore didn't make a return. So now I'm on the DJ Moore train.
Well, yeah, that's understandable.
That's who we're starting. That is it for me. That is it for you. If there's any questions, I have trivia, but I might wait for tomorrow. So when we're all back.
Yeah, we might as well wait.
All right. So that sounds like it is the end here. Hold on. Okay. That's a wrap for week 8 recap. We will be back tomorrow with our normal crew with the week 9 preview. Make sure you use our promo code SuperFB if you are considering underdog fantasy. If you're looking to get a jersey from your favorite player or team, the World Series is on right now. Pick up a Phillies jersey. We now have a partnership with Fanatics as well. Feel free to check them out at the link in our bio on all platforms. Up to 65% off right now. That is an absolute steal. With Christmas coming around, presents need to be bought. Also, if you did not know, we are part of the Olde City Sports Network. We now have a ton of sponsors with them in the Delco area, including breweries, beef jerky, and more. So check out those at oldcitysports.com, link in the bio as well. If you're here with us live, hit that follow button on Twitch or subscribe on YouTube. If you want to listen to the audio version, we're on Spotify, Apple, and more. That is all for us today. Peace.